Welcome back, YouTube. Sensei Domino here. Today I'm going to be showing my 1985 Topps Baseball starter set. As usual, I'll show the fronts and the backs of the first few cards, then I'll just show the front so the video isn't too terribly long. Let's go ahead and get started. First, we have a Cliff Johnson record breaker. Next, Chris Bando. Now, I am missing quite a few cards from this set. I'd guess probably over 200, but still, it's a pretty good start. After I finish showing this first half of the set, I'll go ahead and show my checklist. But definitely missing quite a few. I do have most of the main cards, though, so that's good. Next, we have the great Jerry Koosman. Nice TTM signer. Next, we have Lee Tunnell. Bruce Berenyi. Odell Jones. Terry Whitfield. Chuck Porter. Ed Nunez. Greg Nettles, great player. Reed Nichols. Jackie Moore. Johnny Walkenfuss. Hall of Famer Phil Niekro. Mike Fichlin. Andre David. Dickie Thon. Greg Minton. Gary Woods. Dave Rozema. Tony Fernandez. Jerry Dibzinski. Tom Gorman. Frank Tanana, fantastic TTM signer. Kurt Kaufman. Steve McCaddy. Mark Bailey. Hall of Famer Dick Williams. Rafael Santana. Jim Wynn. Don Baylor. Tim Loudner, Rusty Kuntz, Mike Krukow, Alan Bannister, Scott Fletcher, another great TTM signer, Keith Hernandez, Joe Price, Spike Owen, Mike Marshall, this one will need to be replaced. It has a nasty crease on it, but Don Ossie, David Green, another great TTM signer, Bryn Smith. Looks like he's signing some cards right there. Jackie Gutierrez, another great TTM signer, Toby Harrah. And another great TTM signer, Jose Cruz. I think he's $2 per. And another great TTM signer, Johnny Ray. I was a big fan of Johnny Ray. Milt Wilcox. The great George Brett, Hall of Famer. Randy Lerch. Ron Kittle, another good TTM signer. Pascual Perez. Tom Foley. Darnell Coles. Gary Renicky. Doug DeCinces. Tommy Herr. Bob James. Oil Can Boyd. I think he's been a TTM signer in the past. I'm not sure if he still is, but I know he has in the past. Greg Gross. Eric Schau. Pat Corrales. Steve Kemp. Tom Brunansky. Dave Smith. Rich Hebner. Kent Tekulve. Rupert Jones. Mark Guba's a rookie card. I think he's a TTM signer. I know this guy is. Ernie Witt. And same with this guy. Gene Garber. Oliver was a really good player. I love these cards, these father-son cards. So we have Gus Bell and Buddy Bell. Ray Boone and Bob Boone. Bob Boone's a great signer. Tito and Terry Francona. Next we have Bob and Terry Kennedy. Next we have Bill and Jeff Kunkel. And this one's going to be great getting signed. Vern Law and Vance Law, both of them do sign. Next we have Dick Schofield and Dick Schofield. This is another one that it's possible to get both signed. Bob Skinner and Joel Skinner. Next we have Roy Smalley and Roy Smalley. Next we have Dave Stenhouse and Mike Stenhouse. Next we have Ozzie Virgil and Ozzie Virgil. And that's the last of the father-son cards. There might be a couple that I'm missing. I'm not really sure. Next we have Ron Gardenhire. I remember when I first got into the hobby, this was a pretty hot card. Alvin Davis rookie card. I believe he was either the 84 or the 85 rookie of the year, but I'd have to double check that. Next we have Gary Reedus. Bill Swaggerty. Dickie Knowles. Hall of Famer Jim Rice. He's a nice TTM signer. He's either 10 or 20 per. Next we have Moose Haas. Frank LaCourte. Craig Reynolds. Tug McGraw. Lance Parrish. Really nice catcher. George Orta. Keith Atherton. Rufino Linares. George Foster. Bill Stein. Jack Perconti. Mike Young. Rick Honeycutt. The great Dave Parker. Put this man in the Hall of Fame. Bill Schroeder. Dave Von Olin. And next, this is the first sort of big card from the set that I've gotten to. The Roger Clemens rookie card. Next we have Tim Flannery. Larry McWilliams. Carmen Castillo. Mike Walters. Warren Brewstar. Rusty Staub. Steve Nicosia. Dave Stegman. Glenn Hubbard. I was a big fan of this guy when I first got into card collecting. Pete O'Brien. He was one of the Rangers' best players around this time. Eddie Milner. El Presidente, Denny Martinez. Another guy that sort of a borderline Hall of Famer. Definitely wouldn't have any arguments if he was put in. All right, let me clear up this stack and move on to the second stack. Bugging me. All right, there we go. Reggie Jackson. Next we have Bert Hooton. Bob McClure. Art Howe. Steve Rogers. Another great TTM signer, Phil Garner. Mark Clear. Champ Summers. Clay Christensen. George Vukovic. Bob Brenly. Doyle Alexander. Hubie Brooks. Al Cowens. Another great TTM signer, Danny Darwin. Deion James. Dave LaPointe. Mark Thurmond. Tim Tuffle. Dave Stieb. Man, this guy had a ton of one-hitters. Jim Fry. Greg Harris. I believe he's a good TTM signer. Barbaro Garby. Chili Davis. Wayne Tollison. Terry Forster, Brad Golden, Dave Ford, Sid Bream rookie, really nice player, Lonnie Smith, another good player, Gary Allenson, Dave Righetti, Greg Booker, Joe Sambito, another great TTM signer, Frank Viola. I think he's 5 per. Fantastic pitcher. Henry Cotto, Doug Baker, next we have this kind of a cool card, 1980 #1 draft pick, Darryl Strawberry, next we have Dan Dreesen, Rudy Law, Walt Terrell, Jeff Kunkel, Tom Underwood, Bob Welsh, Kurt Young, Joe Niekro, Ricky Nelson, Gary Lucas, Marty Barrett, Andy Hawkins, John Montefusco, Gary Gaetti, another great player, Rick Russell, who I believe is a good TTM signer, Manny Trio, another fantastic TTM signer, Dave Schmidt, Jeff Jones, Dave Stapleton, Bruce Bochy, will one day be a Hall of Famer, Willie Guillermo Hernandez, Bruce Benedict, another great TTM signer, Danny Heap, Hall of Famer Robin Yount, Floyd Rayford, Charlie Lee, Domingo Ramos. Look at that choke job on that bat. That's fantastic. You just don't see that anymore. You know, that might have a lot to do with batting averages being so low. Nobody hits for contact anymore. Juan Augusto, Julio Solano, Andre Robertson, Ron Hodges, Danny Ozark, Mike Moore. This might be his rookie card. Brian Downing, Alan Wiggins, Jody Davis, Bert Roberge, maybe. And this is a great set right here. This is the Olympic subset. We'll start with Rod Dedeaux. Rod Dedeaux. Next we have Sid Akins. I know a lot of you know that there was a really good player on this Olympic team that did not get a card in this 85 set, and that would be Will Clark. And that would have been fantastic to see, but unfortunately they left him out. Next we have Flavio Alfaro. Next we have Don August. Scott Bankhead. Mike Dunn. John Hoover. John Marzano. Of course, the big card in the set, the big card off the Olympic team is, of course, the Mark McGwire. Sort of an iconic card. This card has been in and out of my collection for decades, but now it's safe to say this one's here to stay. Say what you want about the steroid era, but that 1998 home run chase was certainly memorable. And it's hard to disagree that it sort of saved baseball after the 1994 strike. Anyway, a couple more cards. I am going over, the halfway mark just to kind of finish off the Olympic baseball set. So we have a couple more. Next we have Pat Pasillo. And the last card I'll be showing today, Billy Swift. Let me go ahead and move this off to the side real quick so I can show my checklist without knocking into the cards. Only take a second. Yeah, this checklist is pretty long. Here it is. Definitely need quite a few. Like I said, I'd probably guesstimate 200 at least. Kind of looks like more, but I think it's about 200. And I do have some, I don't know if you can see, but some of them like this one. That means I have it, but I want to replace it. Any of the cards with a check mark on it. So there aren't too many that I have to replace, but there are definitely a few. But that's it. It's a large set, 792 cards, so. It was still a nice starter set to pick up, and I had all the main cards, basically. The Clemens, the McGwire, Nolan Ryan, Kirby Puckett, Eric Davis, pretty much the big rookie cards, and a lot of the stars. So basically it's just kind of filling out the commons. But anyway, that's all I have for you today. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.